Hi everybody, it's Miss Brody back again for another fantasy writing lesson, and this one's a biggie. This one's probably like the most important lesson of all. It's about those three magic words, show, don't tell. This is it, really. I could teach this lesson every day and it still wouldn't be enough because these three magic words can help you become a better writer. So let's say them out loud together. Show, don't tell. Say them again to yourself. Show, don't tell. Now I want you to think to yourself, what do they mean? Hmm, right? You've probably heard them, but let's make sure you really understand what it means to show and not tell in writing. Okay, well, let's take a look. It's an old saying that basically means to give the readers actions, thoughts, senses, and feelings rather than just very simple descriptions. So over here, we have a very simple telling sentence. This is the no, don't do it. Mr. Smith was a fat, grouchy old man. Yeah, there's some descriptive words there, fat and grouchy, but I can't really see it. But the yes over here, showing more than telling, is Mr. Smith heaved his heavy frame out of the armchair, and while trying to reach for his cane, grumbled, Susan, get yourself over here now. So I can really hear him being grouchy. I can see that he's heavy, right? It's just better writing. It's not telling me, it's giving the reader more of a picture they can put in their mind. Here's some more examples. So here's the telling part. James was a dragon who was annoyed at his mother. For showing, as the writer, I decided that I could show that James was annoyed, and I would also kind of explain a little bit why. James, you must clean up all the ashes you left after burning that forest, James's mother commanded, standing in front of what used to be the petrified forest. James hung his head and let out a low growl. What fun is it to burn a forest if you have to clean up afterward, he thought. So let's look over here at the what's different, right? Well, in this part, I know the setting. That was another lesson I've already taught about the importance of having a setting in each of your scenes. So I know that the mom is standing in front of the petrified forest. I noticed that I used dialogue and paragraphs, right? Here's the mom talking, and now I've indented when it's James's turn to sort of show why he's annoyed, right? I have small details, actions, right? He hung his head and let out a low growl. She is commanding him and she's standing. And then I added even inner thinking to really show me what the character is feeling or thinking. I don't just tell you that he's annoyed. Now I'm showing you what he's even thinking. Much better writing, and it doesn't take a lot more effort. It just means something you have to be thinking about to do. Here's another one. Priscilla was afraid when she saw the dragon. Again, here's this really boring basic verb, was. It's a state of being, what she was, and I'm just telling you she's afraid. Well, how can I show what being afraid looks like? Let's see. Priscilla peeked out from behind the large tree she was crouching behind. The dragon seemed to stretch all the way to the clouds. She was sure the dragon could hear the pounding of her heart. The sound was so loud in her head and in her chest. Her feet felt glued to the ground, which was okay with her, since she had no desire to move. Every cell in her body was tingling. Now, again, what's different between the showing and the telling? Well, first, again, I'm showing us where this is taking place. I'm giving the setting. She's behind a large tree. Description. I'm describing why she's afraid. I'm adding that why. The dragon's huge. And now I'm adding some of those specific sensory details. The sounds, right? Her heart is beating, her feet are glued, and her cells are tingling. All of that helps the reader really feel just how scared she is, not just them telling me she's afraid. Final one. Mr. Beaver told the thistle creatures to go away. Well, I mentioned this at another lesson. Whenever you see that word told or you catch yourself using the word told, think to yourself, am I telling the reader? Can I be showing? Right? You're just telling me what he says, but you're not really showing me. You're not using the real words that Mr. Beaver uses. So let's try this a new way. We won't take any more of this nonsense, said Mr. Beaver in his most stern but yet sophisticated tone. You creatures are simply not wanted here, and we will no longer tolerate you and your menacing ways. Mr. Beaver stood tall in front of his river home and tapped his thick tail on the ground behind him, the way a mother may tap her foot when she is annoyed at her child. Again, I added a little setting detail here in front of his river home. I use his actual words. I'm using dialogue. I Instead of just saying he told them to go away, now I hear him. I just described how he said it in his stern and sophisticated tone. Now I'm giving the beaver a little bit of a personality. Here, I really don't know anything about him, but with just a few extra thoughts, and I decided to make him this kind of fussy beaver using kind of bigger words. And I even described again his actions. He's standing tall and he's tapping his tail the way a mother would. So much better than what was before. Showing is so much better than telling. Okay, you've seen this slide before. I can use senses, right? Think about your senses. That's not just for a hook. Use your senses to think about what it looks like, smells like, feels like, sounds like, maybe even tastes like. That's going to help you show and not tell, right? And they're not just used to describe the setting, but also they can describe how the characters are feeling, the characters themselves, the mood, right? So these sensory details, keep thinking of them in your head. How can I use action, right? We don't want to use, if you notice that you use basic words like was, or went, or saw, or walked, or said, or told, or liked a lot, that's a small list of words that are often overused in writing. What can we use instead? Well, we can use action words. We can describe. Here's a few really simple fixes. Priscilla was scared. No, we can do better. Priscilla's legs shook and her heart beat loudly, right? That's showing me she's scared, not just telling me with this passive verb was. Now I'm seeing shook and heart beating, okay? Let's try another one. Priscilla went to the forest. Very boring. Or walked to the forest. Very boring. I can say she grabbed her basket and skipped out the door toward the woods, right? It's just more action. We can, with a little push, we can make our writing go from blah and ho-hum to hip, yip, yip, hooray, right? Here's this great list. Look at all these verbs that we can use instead of said, right? Just by changing the word said to roared or snapped or bellowed or growled, I can convey anger, right? If I want my character to be excited, instead of saying said, I can say that they chirped or they shrieked, right? If they're a little bit cautious, they can say they're going to caution somebody or they're going to warn somebody. So you can Google this list yourself, and there's plenty of them out there to say words instead of said. So many different: murmuring, mumbling, whispering, stammering. All of them have little bits of different meanings than just the really basic said. And here's another list, I hope. Here's another list for walked. Just a simple word walked. We can do so much better. So if your character's angry, instead of walking, they can storm or stalk or pace or stomp. If they're being quiet or careful, right, maybe they're tiptoeing or sneaking or prowling. If they're feeling unsteady, maybe they're staggering or wobbling or teetering, right? If they're slow and relaxed versus excited, then they're strolling or sauntering or wandering. Just by changing your verb, you're going a little bit, you're showing more than just telling, okay? So something to think about. Let's just do a really quick review of what we've covered. We've covered hooks, action, ADD, action, description, dialogue to start your story or to start each scene. So every time you're entering a new scene, think action, description, dialogue. That's going to help you show, don't tell. Are you using transitions and paragraphs? Remember, PATS. So we've got ADD up here, and we've got PATS, place, action, time, speaker. Use those paragraphs to help the flow of the story. Use those transition words, but don't just keep falling back on the boring then or later, right? Let's try adding some suspense in a moment or suddenly. We also talked about setting and how important it is to make sure that the reader knows where the story is taking place, that your characters aren't just floating around, right, in a scene. And you can use your sensory details to help the reader envision where your story is taking place. And then finally today are 3 magic words: show, don't tell, and they will really spice up your writing. Make sure the reader can really see what you're writing. Don't be lazy. Writing takes thought. right? J.K. Rowling didn't just write Harry Potter in a day. She really thought to herself, how can I create these moods? How can I create these characters and these action scenes, right? She's showing and not telling. And you can do it too. It just takes a little work. Okay, it's time to start drafting. Again, you should be working on about a half a page each day. Don't rush it, but give it some thought. We're so excited to keep reading what you're writing. Many of you are doing awesome jobs. The few of you that aren't writing enough, push yourself, add a little bit more, and keep on going. Have a great day, everybody.